There's a ramen shop in Tokyo that has been open for over 40 years. The owner arrives before dawn every morning. He makes the same broth he has always made, the same sequence of steps, the same measurements, the same attention to the same small variables, the temperature of the water, the timing of each addition, the way the fat sits on the surface. He has been asked many times why he doesn't automate more of the process, why he doesn't train someone else to do the early morning work. His answer is always the same: because the broth would change, and he cannot accept the broth changing. His regulars say they can tell when he's had a difficult morning, not from anything visible, just from the soup. In Japanese, there is a word for what this man has. It's called Kodawari. You probably know this feeling from your own life. Maybe it's the way you arrange things before you can start working. The way a badly worded sentence in a document bothers you long after you've moved on. The way you notice when something is slightly off-center, when the lighting in a room is wrong, when a presentation has one slide that doesn't quite match the others. Or maybe it's something more specific. A craft, a skill, a way of doing one particular thing that you refuse to do carelessly, even when no one else would notice, even when it would be faster and easier to let it go. People around you might call this perfectionism. They might tell you to stop overthinking it, that good enough is good enough, that you're wasting time on details no one cares about. But what you're feeling isn't a problem. It has a name. And in Japan, it is understood not as a flaw, but as a gift. Kodawari, pronounced Kodawari, doesn't translate cleanly into English. The closest approximations are commitment, obsession, or uncompromising attention. But none of these fully capture it. In everyday Japanese, Kodawari carries a sense of being unable to let something go, of caring about a detail that others consider minor, of holding yourself to a standard that exists not because someone requires it, but because you require it. The word comes from a verb, meaning to stick to cling to be particular about. In older usage, it sometimes carried a slightly negative connotation, being too attached, too rigid. But in contemporary Japanese culture, Kodawari has become a word of respect. When someone says a craftsman has Kodawari, they mean he cares in the deepest possible way, that his standards are his own and they do not move. You will find it everywhere in Japan. On restaurant menu, a chef has Kodawari for the sourcing of every ingredient. In product descriptions, crafted with Kodawari for the quality of each stitch. In interviews with artisans, my Kodawari is in the finish. If the finish isn't right, nothing else matters. It is a word that describes a certain relationship between a person and their work one, where the work becomes a reflection of the self, and the self cannot accept less than what the self knows is possible. Consider the life of Jiro Ono, the sushi chef, whose small basement restaurant in Tokyo has held 3 Michelin stars for decades. He is now in his 90s. He still works. He still makes the sushi himself. People have asked what drives him to continue, what there is left to perfect after 80 years. His answer reveals something essential about Kodawari. He says he has not yet made a perfect piece of sushi, that every day he is working towards something he has not yet reached, not because he is dissatisfied with his life. He seems deeply at peace, but because the pursuit itself is the point. Jiro's Kodawari is not about reaching a destination. It is about the quality of attention he brings to the journey. Every piece of rice, every slice of fish, every moment of preparation, all held to the same standard. Not the standard of what is acceptable, the standard of what is possible. This is what separates Kodawari from ordinary perfectionism. Perfectionism is often driven by fear, fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of being seen as inadequate. It is anxious. It is exhausting. It tends to paralyze. Kodawari is driven by something different. It is driven by love, by genuine caring for the thing you are making, the craft. You are practicing, the work you are putting into the world. It does not paralyze, it focuses. It does not exhaust, it sustains. The psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi spent decades studying what he called optimal experience, the state of complete absorption in a challenging task, where time seems to stop and performance reaches its peak. He called this state flow. What he found was that flow occurs most reliably when a person cares deeply about what they are doing, and the challenge of the task is well matched to the level of their skill. Not too easy, that produces boredom. Not too hard, that produces anxiety. But a precise, demanding engagement with something that matters. People who have Kodawari spend a great deal of time in flow, not because they are trying to, but because when you care about something at that level, the work pulls you in. You stop watching the clock. You stop thinking about how it looks from the outside. You are simply inside the thing, attending to it, trying to make it what you know it can be. This is one reason that the craftsmen and artists and chefs with the deepest Kodawari often say they don't experience their work as hard. It is not that it isn't demanding. It is that the demand feels like exactly the right use of their attention. There is a concept in Japanese craft tradition called shokunin, the artisan, who has devoted a lifetime to a single skill. The furniture maker, the knife sharpener, the tea bowl maker, the paper folder. What these people share is not just technique. Anyone can learn technique. What they share is Kodawari and unwillingness to release work that hasn't met the standard they carry inside themselves. A standard that exists in the hands and the eyes before it exists in words. A traditional Japanese carpenter building a wooden joint does not simply cut the pieces and fit them together. He tests the joint by feeling the resistance as the wood closes. A perfect joint produces a specific sensation, a resistance that gives way smoothly with no gap, no wobble, no play. If the sensation is wrong, he takes it apart and starts again. Not because the joint looks imperfect, because it feels imperfect to him. No one else would know, but he would know. And for a person with Kodawari, that is enough. Here is the question worth asking yourself. What do you notice that other people walk past? Not in general specifically. What is the thing in your particular world that catches your attention? When everyone else is looking at something else, where is the domain in which your standards are simply higher than average? Not because you decided they should be, but because they are? That noticing is your Kodawari. It might be in something grand, your professional craft, your art, your life's work, but it might also be in something small, the way you write a message before you send it, the way you arrange a bookshelf, the way you make coffee in the morning, the small ritual you perform without thinking. Because if you don't do it right, it bothers you for the rest of the day. We tend to undervalue these small insistences. We call them quirks or habits or sometimes problems, but they are signals. They point toward where your real attention lives, toward what, at some deep level, you actually care about. The challenge is that the modern world does not always make room for Kodawari. Speed is rewarded. Output is measured. Good enough ships. Move fast and iterate. These are the values of a culture that runs on volume. And there is a logic to them. But something is lost when the only metric is how quickly something was produced. The ramen chef with Kodawari for his broth makes one bowl of soup at a time, attended to fully. The carpenter with Kodawari for his joints takes 3 times as long as a carpenter who doesn't. The sushi master refuses to automate what the automation would change. What they are protecting is not efficiency, it is meaning. The meaning that comes from having fully applied yourself to something, from having brought your whole standard to bear on a single moment of work and having met it. That moment, repeated across a lifetime, becomes a kind of integrity, a coherence between what you value and what you do. There is a Japanese phrase, te no kyoku, the memory of the hands. The way skill accumulates in the body over years of practice, not in the mind, but in the hands themselves. A person with Kodawari is building this. Every time they refuse to accept less than they know is possible, the standard moves slowly, over years from effort to instinct. What once required concentration becomes the default. This is why the great craftsmen say they don't think about quality. They just do the work. Quality is what comes out when you have spent enough time caring. If you are someone who can't stop noticing the details, who finds it genuinely difficult to release work that isn't right, who holds yourself to standards, no one else is measuring. This is not your flaw. It is the thing that if you follow it, will make you very good at the thing you love. The world has plenty of people who can do things adequately. It has very few who cannot stop until it's right. Those are the people whose work lasts, whose names are remembered, whose soup people travel across the city to eat at 6 in the morning. Your Kodawari knows something. Let it lead. Follow this channel if you want more ideas like this, the kind that make you see your own nature a little more clearly.